beginning of pronouncing this word, okay? So remember, when we pronounce, you don't have, I mean, you do pronounce it correctly. What where you run into some difficulty is the L and the I sound, right? So we're going to break that into the three sections. L, A, E, right?
No.
L, A, E. Right. Now we want to put the L and the A, which you do pronounce correctly. La. La. Right. And now E. So it'd be la. La, E. Get used to it. Right. No, you went back to 9. Now you're going back.
Okay.
I know it's hard. But it's very repetitive, and you just keep going over and over until it just becomes natural, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to become natural today, by the way. This takes time because this is a sound that gives you difficulty. I have words that give me. We all have things that are difficult. So we're going to go back to. Let's go back to la. La. La.
Means the.
Right. Right. La, E. Right. And that's how you're going to pronounce these words from now on. So let's just try it one more time. Then we're going to leave it and come back to it later. Ready? La, E.
La, E.
Now, la, E.
La, E.
Now, try to put them together.
9.
No, you went back to 9. You went back.
9.
Start with the L sound. Line.
9.
Just say L. And then ein. So now, L, ein. No, L, ein. Right, L, ein.
It's right, I-N-D is right.
No, it's A-L-I-N-D.
Okay.
Like in lake. Like in lake. Right.
Lake.
So it's I. Right. Right. So now it's line. Yes. That was perfect. See, that's the perfect line. You're making an R. You're making an R. That tongue has to touch the top of right behind your teeth. Line. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Line. So try it one more time.
Right.
Yeah. Very close.
Line.
Yes.
Line.
Line. But focus on the L sound. You're making an R sound sometimes.
Yeah. I find this way similar. L is pronounced similar R.
Yes, but you know what the difference is, right? With the R, your tongue should not be touching.
Not touch it.
Right. With the L, you do touch the tip of the very front of your tongue to the back of your teeth, or to the little ridge there, and that becomes an L. So if you're saying R and you bring your tongue forward, and then you bring your tongue forward, that's an L.
Okay.
So it's artle. Ooh. When your tongue comes forward, to your teeth, it becomes an L, right? But don't go through, just to the teeth. So it's artle. It'll come to an R. These are exercises, by the way, that will help with this. So they're actually good. I'm glad that you're actually working on this, because this is very easy to solve with practice, right? Because I can see that you're making the right sound. I know that you make the right sound. I can hear it and see it. But what happens is that because you don't practice enough, right? I mean, how often do you get to say it? But the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. So let's just try it one more time, and then we're going to move on because I don't want to overdo it, and then we'll come back to it. So it's l, a, e. L, l,
I,
l, a, in.
I, in.
Right. So l, a.
I, in.
Now la.
Nine.
No.
La.
Right.
In.
Right. So now you're going to combine la, in.
Nine. In.
You went back to 9. La. Just say la.
Nine. Nine.
You're saying it right now. La, in.
Nine.
No, you went back to 9. La, in. Right.
Na, in.
La, in.
Na, in.
Think of la, 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 la. You know, when you're singing to a
La,
kid.
la, 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 la.
Right.
La,
That's
la,
it.
la, la, la.
That's what it is. It's la, 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 in. La, la,
La,
la,
la,
la.
la, 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 in.
Yes.
Nine. La, 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 in.
Yes.
La, 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 in.
We may have found a different way to teach this. By the way.
3 ways.
We found a
La,
new
la,
way to
in.
teach it. It's la, 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 in. La, la.
La, 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 in. La, 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 in.
That's, you know what? I think I found it. I'm going to write that
La,
down.
la, la, in.
We found a way to do in. I am actually going to tell this to the speech therapist who is giving me a different way to correct this sound, but this is the one that got it. That's the one that fixed. Oh my goodness. Well, this is great.
Yeah, very smart. You use 3 ways to help me to correct this.
I think it's time to change speech therapists. Yeah. Okay. So now we have to remember that when you see an L, yeah, when you see an L and an I, you're gonna think, when you practice it, la 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 la.
La 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 in.
Right. And then
in 9.
now you said no. You went back to 9 on that very last one. You said it line, and then you went to 9. So it's la 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 in.
La 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 in 9. La 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 in 9.
No, you went to 9.
9.
La 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 in. Line.
La 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 in 9.
Yes.
Oh, la 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 in 9.
Yes.
9.
Right. And you'll get used to it. You will get used to it.
I feel that the time like this, how to say it? Like this, the 9.
Well, the tongue
a little
line. Right, because it's really the tip of your tongue that comes to behind you. So to do that, you have to actually curl your tongue. You're right. So it's line, but not as much as, not a complete curl, right? It's not, it's almost a flatter, right? Line.
9.
No, you went to 9 again. So
9.
Practice it as la 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 ein.
9.
Going to 9 now, because what happens is the only way you can make an N sound for that 9. When you make a 9, what you're doing is you're blocking all of the sound, so it has to come out through your nose. That's an N. There's no way that you can do it otherwise.
Yes.
L, the sound is coming through the sides of your tongue because you're blocking with the tip of your tongue, right? So, but it's still coming out of your mouth, but you're not blocking it on the sides. On an N, you are blocking. You have to block it on the sides to make the N sound, okay?
Yeah.
So remember that the tongue cannot block the air coming out. That's why the tongue comes up, but only the tip, right? Only the tip of your tongue.
9.
Line. Yes. Now you're saying line. Because if you block it completely, it'll come out your nose. And that's a 9. That's an N.
9.
You don't want an N, you want an L. Okay? So I think when you watch the video and you practice that, and the good thing is it's at the very beginning, you'll see what I'm talking about, because you'll see your mouth in the video, by the way. That's the other thing. I don't know if you do this, but when you practice, you should practice in front of a mirror, right?
Yes, I have a mirror.
Okay, excellent. Because in front of the mirror, you'll see your tongue doing what it's supposed to, and you'll also see it not doing what it's supposed to. So that's a good thing. Okay, so let's move away from the R's and L's, but we are going to come back to them, right? I don't want to overtire you with that. And let's go. See, now here's where I think you'll see that you don't have a problem pronouncing the L. It's just the L and the I. So let's do these words, because this is an L and this is an R, and yet I know that you can say these.
Black, bread, blue, brew, clean, clean, free, free, green, green.
You see? You see how you have no trouble pronouncing the L. It's only when it's followed by an I. So let me see. I will actually, let's try this word.
Blind.
Yeah, you see how but wait, you see how you don't have trouble when the LI is preceded by another letter. You don't have, it's only at the very beginning. So try it one more time.
Blind.
Yeah.
Blind.
You don't have a problem at all with the LI when it's preceded. It's only at the very beginning of the word. So, you know, think about this when you're practicing.
Blind.
That blight, you don't have a problem with. Light, on the other hand, you will have difficulty or line,
yes,
because it's the beginning of the word. So what's the difference? Connected speech. Because in connected speech, if that line, look, I'll show you. Watch this. I'm going to type a word. Let's go with okay, let's try this sentence.
the red line is white.
Okay, so there you went back to an N, right? It's an L sound, so it's the red line. Now, but
The red line.
well,
red line is white.
right. So white. So when we say that in connected speech, we wouldn't say the red line. We would combine those two words, and it would be red line. So that's where
the red line.
Red line. See, you're when that L is at the beginning, you are having difficulty. So
yeah,
let's go back to the word blight.
Blight.
Yeah, you see, you don't have that trouble because you're starting with the B sound, which leads to the L. So, and from the B sound, it's almost impossible to get to an N sound. That's why there's no word like that in English. So there's no word that's BN in English. So that's what's kind of telling you, you don't have a problem pronouncing the L or the I. It's the first letter L, I that you have difficulty with. So practice blight and then think in terms of what that feels like. It feels like bull. Your L is already made by the L. It's already, the B is forcing that L sound to be correct. Blight.
Do you think blight?
You see? Perfect.
Blight.
It's perfect.
Blight.
So what that's saying to me is that it's just the formation of the L at the beginning of a word that's giving you difficulty. But if you break down blight to light, blight.
Night.
No, blight.
Blight.
No, don't say night. Blight. Yeah, you see, if you say the word in its entirety, you're fine. It's at the very beginning of a word that's giving you difficulty. And in that case, I think you have to go back to the way we practiced it, where you're saying the word la, which opens your mouth, la, 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 la.
La, 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 line.
Yeah, you see how it goes right back to the right way when it's practiced that way. So practice it that way. La, 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 until you feel your tongue forming the L. La, 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 la. That's how I form the L. La, la, la. And that's the beginning of the I sound also. So it's la, 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 la. And then you're going to add the E to it. Line, line, line.
Line, 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 line.
Yeah, you see, half the time you got that right. So it's a matter of practicing. I would just practice the la and then add an E. La, 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 E,
La,
la, E, la, E.
E, la, la, E.
Yeah.
La, E.
Practice it that way. I'm telling you, you have this because that's the only one that gives you difficulty, okay?
Yeah.
So we will come back to this, though. I just don't want you to keep thinking about it. Okay, so let's try some sentences with R, and I'll post them now.
Not cry.
Oh, you have them already.
Yeah.
Oh, in the practice things. Okay, try them. Go ahead.
Don't not cry. Mother, you are a star.
Star.
I like
Star.
Mother, you are a star.
Right.
Okay. I like to learn language. Language.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Lisa loves Larry's a lot.
See, you don't have a problem even at the beginning of a word unless it's followed by the I sound. And it's for me, that's the L is just a difficult word, a sound to make, but you don't have a problem. It's only when it's, that's the only instance that you have difficulty. So it's practice, because clearly it's practice, because you can say the L and you can say the I, in fact, because I heard you say it before. So it's just the combination, but it's a combination. So you have to, stay all over it. All right. So let's try where they're both, but let me post a different one for you. Okay. No, actually you have you have
Narrow and Larry really long. They're rather roaster to sleep.
Yep. Okay. Let's try this one though. Let's try this one. It's a little more difficult, but I think you're fine because you don't have a problem with this. I just want to hear you say it. Okay.
Yellow arrows.
Arrows. Those are arrows. Yeah. Yellow
arrows.
Yeah.
Okay. Yellow arrows freed with the referred. Leaves.
It's frilled. Frilled.
Frilled.
Frilled.
Frilled.
Yeah, it's
frilled.
Frilled. Frilled. Just say frill.
Frill.
Say frill.
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 Okay, you have to hit that L hard. So it's like a hard L. It's frill.
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 Okay.
Frill.
Okay. I could see from here that the tip of your tongue is not touching the back of your teeth. The sides of your tongue are touching your teeth. It's the L.
Frill.
Oh, like la 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 la. It's
frill.
You're pronouncing that double L as an R because it's coming from R. You don't want to do that. That tongue has to come forward to touch your tongue. Just the tip, of course, to touch your teeth, rather. So it's yellow arrows frilled.
Yellow times frilled.
Pronounce the L on that. Just pronounce it. Just pronounce the L, actually. Right? So it's frilled.
free, free,
Ooh.
free,
Right, frilled. Yes. See how you were right there. It's frilled. Frilled. Your tongue comes up and hits your teeth. Frilled.
free word. A free word. Free word.
Well, it's frilled. You know what it is? Is coming from the front of your mouth. The that sound, sound is coming from back here. So you're saying and then your tongue comes up and touches the back of your teeth, and it becomes oh. So it's really, you're making two sounds at the same time, which becomes one sound, which is the L. It's the and then your tongue comes up oh. So that's how you make that sound. So in this case, it's a little different because you're coming off the I, which tightens your throat, right? I, but you're still going to touch the back of your teeth. Old. Feel the L? It's frilled. Right. You're not letting the tongue go, though. Don't let it go, because then that becomes frilled. So you want just the L sound. It's a pure L, which is the tongue. It's the tongue just frilled, and it's just the tip of the tongue. It's not the sides. Let me see how I do this. Okay, there. It's not the whole tongue that comes up. It's just the tip of the tongue, right? Just the tip comes up, not the whole tongue, just the tip.
Frilled.
Now you're making the L because it's just the tip, right? If you bring the whole thing up, it becomes an N, and if you curl it too much, it becomes an R.
Yeah.
So you want that tongue almost straight out, frilled.
Frilled.
Yes. Now you're right.
These words have R and N.
Yeah. It has them both. That's the problem. You go from an R, right? From an R to an L.
Yeah. R-E-L.
Right. Your tongue is sticking out. R-I-L. So it's your tongue is back, right? Your tongue is back for the R, and then it comes forward.
For E.
L. Yes. There you go. Frilled. It's like your tongue is rolled out. Frilled. Make sure the tongue touches the top, because you'll see in the video that it's not. Frilled. You're still going to an R at the end, so just keep your tongue straight out, but touching your mouth. Frilled, right? But not sticking out, because that's a good TH. If you stick it out, it'll be a TH. So we want L.
Frilled.
Let's try it. Frilled. Just say old. Just say old. Old. There you go. So now if you put right. That's something you're going to have to practice, because that's a very difficult sound.
From here is right.
Right. The ill is coming from here, but it's a tight, right? You're tightening your throat to make the I sound, but then when you go to the I to the it's like you're opening your throat, but your tongue has to come out to make the L sound and touch the back of your teeth. Frilled. And you'll make frilled. You're still going to R. Frilled. Oh, I know why. That's right. That you showed me before, and you'll see it in the video. Your tongue is, you're right, it's curled. You're curling your tongue up.
Yeah.
But that's not, it has to be flat and touching. Curling flat, and just the tip touches the top. of of behind your teeth, right? Well, you just did it before. Yeah. Now you're doing the ild. As long as it touches the top of your teeth, you cannot, the back of your teeth, you cannot make anything but an L. The only sound that'll come out of your mouth when you're saying and your tongue touches, you know, the tip of your tongue touches your teeth, the only sound that can come out is an L. Because that's how you make it. That's the only sound. You can't make an R, because an R you have to curl your tongue and not let it. Yes. Frilled. Yeah. So frilled. Yeah. Good. So we're going to come back to frilled also. So it's light.
Yeah.
And frilled. Okay.
Light and frilled.
No. What is that?
Light. Light. Light.
Yes. I'm telling you, that exercise is going to be great for you, because you said it perfectly just now. Perfectly.
Light.
Yes.
I think it's because at the beginning speak some words, then time have some activity, so will be light.
Of course,
so I think because I'm a little slowly, my tongue is not very.
Absolutely, but that's what, you know, we've talked about that, right? That it's about training, because don't forget, you know, you grew up not pronouncing these letters. This doesn't exist in Chinese. These sounds do not exist in Chinese. So you have to actually train yourself to say these words. That's why when you first learn any language, like if I were to learn Chinese, I couldn't make those sounds because I'm not used to making the sounds. And believe me, they have tried to teach me Chinese. And I know that when I say some of the things that they've tried to teach me, I know I'm saying them incorrectly because I could see it in their face. But, you know, everybody's too polite to tell me, you know, I'll never learn anything. So, but it's a matter of training it's all muscles, right? You're training.
Yeah.
So, okay. So,
you know, even when I speak Mandarin, I also speak a little slowly, not very fast person. Some person speak, the speed is so fast. Mine not.
But that's okay.
I think it's also a personality.
It is, because let me tell you, people tell me I speak too fast. Even in English, they tell me you speak too fast. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's but that's how I grew up, right? So it's difficult for me to slow down. But I try to slow down. I try to remember. And if I'm going too fast, you have to tell me, because I won't even know that I'm going too fast. You know.
To me now, I think I hear your English. I'm okay, because I usually listen to Australians English. They are always fast. So
are they? I've never really listened to too many, because I know that they speak differently from the UK, right? Because the Australian accent is different from the English to the British accents, right?
Yes. They have a little, they have British, and their accent's essence is a little, and the speed is very fast. But now I hear too much, so now I think I hearing is okay.
Yeah.
But if me speaking, no, I'm kind of speak.
But that's
so
okay.
fast.
We all speak differently. I mean, I got to tell you, if you listen to, you've listened to Kurt speak, right? One of our other tutors.
Yeah.
Kurt, he speaks very slowly, you know? So the difference between the way Kurt speaks and the way I speak, completely different, because he's much slower. And I'm, you know, but, you know.
I think in China, person not speak so fast is because they don't speak too much. They know how to speak that words, but not enough practice.
Right. Well, that's what it is, of course. But you have to speak at your own speed, right? I mean, however you're comfortable, that's the right speed. So don't think you speak slowly or fast. You speak at the speed that you're comfortable. Unfortunately
Yes.
for me, I speak fast and I'm comfortable speaking fast. I have to
I
force.
understand because your business
Well,
so
yeah,
if I think
I
the business should be faster and it's a affection term
right,
affection is right.
right. In order to be effective and to get the work
Yeah,
as
be
much into
effective.
a short period of time, right? No question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
totally understand.
let's move on to the other side, which is the one that you do pronounce when when you shouldn't be pronouncing. But this time, let's actually pronounce it, and that's the N sound, right? So
Yeah.
let's start to let's go there.
Lamp. Lamp is right.
Nap,
Man.
nap,
No.
nap,
Nap. Nap. Nap.
nap,
Nap
right?
is
Man,
right. Man.
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 Right. So for the N sound, it's very similar to the L sound, right?
Yeah.
Except that your tongue completely blocks any air from going out of your mouth. And it must come out of your nose, out of the nasal passage, right? Because it's a nasal sound. So it's
Mm,
you can feel the vibration
mm,
in your nose.
mm,
Right. That's an
mm,
N.
mm,
Right. You see how you
mm,
completely blocked it from coming, it doesn't come out of your mouth, it comes out of your nose. So, right? Now I want you to
mm.
feel that because that's what you're doing on that first L.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you're doing that on the L. So when you feel the N, right?
Mm,
If you just drop
mm,
your tongue a little bit and just keep doing an N and just drop your tongue and just keep the tip, the front piece of your tongue on the back of your teeth, that becomes an L. So it's no.
mm,
Yeah, you see,
R.
you're doing the L now. No, no.
R.
As soon as you open up and the air can get out of your mouth, it becomes an L.
R.
Now you're making an R because you're dropping your tongue. You got to keep your tongue touching at the top from the end. So not just,
R.
no, you went to an R because you opened your mouth completely and you dropped your tongue. That tongue has to stay
Up. Yeah.
in the alveolar ridge.
Mm, mm,
Do you feel right behind your teeth where your palate ends at your teeth, there's a little ridge, right? There's like a bump there. And that's
yeah.
the alveolar ridge, right? Your tongue should be there. Oh, just the tip without curling it. Don't curl your tongue. Keep it flat and up. Oh, you're blocking everything. That's why it's coming out your nose. Oh, yes. Perfect. That's an L. And now if you push your tongue all the way up and block all the air, that becomes an N. That's the
Then,
N,
nap,
nap, right? If that's the
nap,
N, that's an L. Now you're making an L, right? But you want to make an N for this.
nap,
You're
nap,
going to block all of the air. My tongue is blocking all of the air. There's no, like, here's an L, here's an R, this is an N. Blocks it all. It has to come out through. Right, and that's an N. That's an M and an N. They both sound You're blocking, you're using your mouth, your lips to block. And you're not. And your mouth is open and it's your tongue that blocks. But an M, right? Right, that's an N. That's an N. So L, of course, is where you're doing an N rather, and you drop everything, right? You're gonna let me see here. You're going to drop everything except the tip of your tongue, just the tip. N, N, right? Because this part comes down. M, N,
N, N, N, N, N, N.
And then the L, of course.
N, L,
Yeah.
N.
You see the difference? You just did it.
L, N, L, N.
Yes, exactly.
You think that the time is a little, L, 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 L.
Yeah.
The tip is here, L.
Correct.
N, the tongue not touch.
Right, but the N, you're blocking N. No, the N as in no. You're blocking everything. So the tongue completely blocks. It's all around the ridge. So the sides of your tongue are at the gums, at the bottom, at the top of your teeth, and your molars, all the way around. It's completely blocked. I don't have to even close my mouth to make it. The sides of your tongue are also touching. Yes, there you go. That's an N. That's an N. Now, for the L, the sides of your tongue are not touching, right? Because the air has got to get through. That's the difference.
L.
Yes.
L.
Perfect.
L.
Perfect.
L.
Perfect. That is the perfect.
Okay.
That is the perfect.
Got it.
Okay. So remember how that felt, and when you see the video, you will see your face because you could see it making it. You're making it perfectly. Okay. So let's practice that in a sentence now. And you're going to have some N and L.
Nice.
Oh, you have the sentence. Okay. Oh, yes. You're looking at the pre. Okay, very good. All right, so try that one.
Nice but loud. Nancy needs a new blue knitting needles to knit.
Needles, that's an L.
Needles. Knitting needles to lead 50 meter.
Right. So the only one that was kind of in the middle was when you said needles.
Needles.
You're going to an R there. It's needles.
Needles.
So the D, right? You see where you make the D? That's the alveolar ridge. You're making a D there. So you want to make a D but not move your tongue after you make the D sound because that's where the L is. So it's needles. It's like you're saying
needles.
Yes.
Needles.
Yeah, needles.
Needles.
Dulls.
Needles.
Bulls.
Needles.
Ooh. Your tongue is up. It's up there. It has to stay up there. So when you say needles, it's needles.
Needles.
Bulls, yeah.
I found L, then you connect with the
Well, don't connect it with R. Never go to an R there because that's an L. You want to stay away from the R. Because don't forget, to make an R, you have to bring that tongue curled, right? An L, that tongue is going straight out. Yeah. You see, that's an L. Feel that. And then if you say that's needles.
Needles.
Yes, you see?
Needles. Okay.
And it's a matter of practice. Needles. And you're not even going to pronounce it completely, by the way, because that kind of runs into each other. All right, so wow. We spent a lot of time on that, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to connected speech, but it's important that we get that right. So we're gonna continue to review those sounds because those are difficult sounds. So, but connected speech, the reason I wanted to talk to you about connected speech is that connected speech
Yes.
actually makes it easier to pronounce words because they run into one another and your mouth is already forming the word from the previous sound. So it's pronouncing the sound from the previous sound. So they kind of run into one another and simplify things. So here are some examples, and I reformatted some of these. And what I want you to do is take a look. Now this is connected speech, which is a little different from what we were looking at before. So this connected speech, what this is telling you is this is how it's spelled, right? And this is how it gets pronounced in connected speech. So what happens is that the way that the Chinese language is spoken, it comes across this way, choppy, right? Like ni hao,
Yes.
right? English, it runs into one another. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between where one word ends and the other one begins in English.
Yeah.
And sometimes an entire sentence sounds like one word. You know, it's like,
Yes.
that's one word. But the reason for that is that because in English, so many words end in consonants, which they don't in Chinese. In Chinese, unless it's an N or an NG, you will never see a word that ends in a consonant. So because of that, in English, we tend to change the way the words are pronounced against how they're spelled. So let's look at the first one. The first one, you would
change it.
But you're right, you would read it as change it, right? But when we speak, it's really change it. So I'm going to change it, right? I'm going to change it, right? And I'm not going to. Right, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to change it.
I'm change it.
Yes.
Change it.
Yeah, you see how that word, we pronounce it differently from the way that it's written.
Yes.
Change it. And that makes it easier to speak and pronounce the words. So look at get out. Right? The way we would pronounce get out, like get out of here. No, we don't say get out. We say get out. One word. And
get out.
Yes, exactly. We say get out. It makes it easier to speak because it just allows you to communicate versus get out. Now, made of is another one of those. We don't say, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we say. We don't say made of, we say made of. So it's like, yeah, we say like may dove, but we say it in one word, made of. Right?
Made of.
And when you speak, it's okay. In fact, it's recommended that you speak that way for a variety of reasons. One, it helps pronunciation. Second of all, it sounds natural versus the way that we, like in school, we're taught to read each word versus speaking, right? Yeah. So dig up, that's not how we would
dig up.
Right, it's dig up. Absolutely. Now here's a funny one. Bet you. I bet you $1 million. No, we don't bet you anything. We bet you.
Bet you.
Yeah, exactly. And that one we say bet you because the T and the U become a chew. So we bet you. Bet you. Right. Bet you. And of course the famous one, which is want to. I don't want to do anything. I wanna do that.
Yeah. I
want to do that. So this, believe it or not, and we're going to practice this because this is such a powerful way for people to speak. I'll give you the other one that's really important for you. And that's where you have the word and or an, you drop that whole thing and just make it an N, right? So for an hour, we would, here, let me put it here. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna copy and paste it. So we would never say this. We would never say it the way it's written. We would say You see where it says for an hour?
Yeah, I will say for an hour.
Right. We would never say, let's have a meeting for an hour. That becomes that an becomes an n, and it's for an hour. And it
For an hour.
right, it becomes one word, for an hour.
For an hour.
Yeah. And believe it or not, when you're speaking and you're dropping and combining words like this, they're more understandable than if you were to say to somebody, let us meet for an hour, right? Yeah, you know what? They're going to understand the words and probably not pay attention to them. But if you say, let's meet for an hour, they're going to hear every one of those words, even though it sounds like one word. They're going to hear the whole thing and understand, okay, yeah, let's meet for an hour. I agree. Let's do that, you know? But if you were to break it down, it's going to sound funny. Now, the same thing.
For an hour.
For an hour. You're going to just drop. For an hour, right, for an hour. You're just going to pronounce the N sound between the two. And you'll see that when you speak, it becomes so much more simple to pronounce words. I'll give you another one. Tell me how you see this. I don't know if you've ever eaten this.
Fish and chips.
Right. Do you ever eat fish and chips? Or do you eat fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
Right, fish and chips. And
fish and chips.
No, you never say fish and chips. You say fish and chips. Fish and chips.
Oh, fish and chips.
Yep,
okay.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying, because now all of a sudden, instead of having to break up your speech, right?
Yes.
It's just flowing. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to meet you for an hour and have fish and chips. Right? Versus, I'm going to meet you for an hour and have fish and chips. No, nobody speaks that way. We say, I'm going to meet you for an hour and we're going to have fish and chips. Right? Can you say those two together? Can you say that to me? I'm going to meet you for an hour and we're going to have fish.
I will meet you for an hour, fish and chips.
Yeah, you see how, believe me, this will become more simple for you as we have a conversation, because that is conversational English. That's conversational. I had an IELTS course that I was teaching, and of course on that test, they're looking for conversational English. So when they test your English, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that conversation. And I had to teach the students to actually speak this way in order to pass the test or to get a better grade on the test. So these are really important, but it's really conversational. So what I want is for whenever you and I speak, that we use conversational English as much as possible. And it's difficult because, look, if you're reading it, right? If you're reading something that I post, you're reading it. So of course you're going to speak it as if you were reading it. But the second time that you read it and the second time you go through it, it becomes a little bit more conversational. So listen to me. I'm going to post something and then you read it along, but you read it silently and I'll read it aloud. And listen to the way I say it. And you listen and while you're reading, right? So all I want, right? So now listen to that want. Yeah. I'm not saying want. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper cup of this is going to be hard. This is a tongue twister. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a copper coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. Now, this is intended to help students with their P's and other, but I use it here because there's so much conversational English. So if you look at what I said, I never said all I want is I said I want is. I combined it, want is. I dropped the T completely and I combined W-A-N, dropped the T and is, want is. A proper cup of coffee, you drop the F, it becomes a cup of coffee. Made in, we already covered made in, a proper coffee pot. I made, right? I didn't say I may be, I said maybe, off my dot. But I wanna, right? I didn't say want, I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. Now this is a tongue twister. This is a really hard thing to say, but if you read it conversationally, it actually becomes a little easier. So I want you to try it, and believe me, it's going to be hard, but just try it.
But sometimes I heard some sensitive. They seem like connect some words together. But if I speak, I find some words I pronounce not very good. I didn't pronounce add the words.
Right. So depending on the word, that is actually the proper way to speak. In English, especially in American English, we tend to drop the last sound of the last consonant in words. We tend to do that because we're connecting words. So you tend to drop letters, sounds rather. So that's not incorrect. You just need to be careful which sounds, because some sounds are important. Right.
Yeah.
But they're not all. Like I said, cup of coffee. You don't say cup of coffee. You say cup of coffee.
Yes, cup of. Yeah, I will say cup of coffee.
Yeah. Right, cup of coffee. It's one word, cup of coffee.
Cup of.
No.
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee, right?
Pack of coffee.
Right. If you went to a Starbucks here in New York City and you said, I'd like a cup of coffee, you'll get a cup of coffee, but they're going to look at you. Like,
Oh, okay. I understand.
Right. But if you go in there and you say, I have a cup of coffee, okay, here you go. Hey, and then all of a sudden you have a conversation. So it's just a matter of conversational English versus scholastic English. And nobody speaks scholastically. It's certainly not in America. We speak conversationally.
Yeah.
So let's try that again. Let's try that one.
Okay. All I want is proper.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. The way that you said that. I want is. That was perfect. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Just not.
Made in a proper coffee. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. Made in a proper copper coffee pot.
Yeah, don't worry about that proper cup. That thing there. That is really hard to say. That's meant to trip you up. It's meant to force people that have difficulty.
Proper copper coffee pot.
Right, but that
proper copper coffee pot.
Pot, no
pot.
R.
Pot.
So that's intended to force people that have some people have difficulties with the C's because it's made back here. You don't have that problem. That's not a native Chinese problem. That's other languages that have guttural sounds. But that's not your problem. But this particular one, the reason I have it is because of the made in, and you said it perfectly. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. And then you go to I may be of my daughter, but I want a cup of coffee.
Okay. From a
right. Don't forget I wanna. Yeah. It's easier to say.
I want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
From a proper coffee pot.
Right. So pot. Yeah. So the I wanna, you're more used to.
I wanna.
Yeah, you're more used to an intellectual academic way of saying wanna, right? Want to rather. Uh, I want you to like listen to people that speak English, you know, all the time as their native language, especially if they're American. If they're American, you will never hear somebody say, I want to, unless you're watching TV, because in TV, they have sanitized language. It's the way they speak on TV, by the way, for the most part, especially the news, that's not the way Americans speak. They've sanitized English on the news to take out any accent so that you rarely will hear an accent on TV, especially news. What you'll hear is somebody who has been trained to speak in that non-regional way so that people in New York, California, Alabama, Texas, and Florida will understand them. Not one of those places speaks the way they do on TV. So, you know, we all have this accent that I keep talking about. I have an incredible New York accent, but if you listen to me and then you listen to somebody, like I said, from California or Alabama, you know, it's going to be like almost three different languages. Same language, just the way we speak is different, that's all. But you'll understand all three because of the pronunciation. So I really want to emphasize this part because it's so important, because this is how we speak, and this will help you in the way that you speak. What I'm looking for is a sentence that contains a lot of this. And because I eliminate almost all of this connected speech, okay, and I did eliminate it all. So I don't have any more of those examples, but I will, because from now on, we're going to practice. So here is a dialogue that I like to use. Let me see if I have it in this section. And I do. Yes, I do. So here's we are going to practice a dialogue, which why didn't I include it? It's actually for a different section. And let me just see if I can pick it up somewhere. Because it's actually, it's a conversation that you would have, and it would be here. Let me see. And okay, so wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. So you are going to be number 1, and I'm going to be number 2. But we're going to have, this is going to be a dialogue. This is going to be a conversation that we're having, right? It's not going to be, it's not that we're reading this for any purpose, because this is strictly to have a conversation. So you're going to be number 1 and I'm going to be number 2, and we're going to go through the thing. Okay, so you start.
I've waited a long time for this vacation, really.
Well, Vivian, I have too. That's why I want to wander around Mount Vesuvius. See how difficult it is to read it, and then it's difficult well, Vivian, I have to. That's why I want to wander around Mount Vesuvius for a while.
Wait a minute, Winnie. Mount Vesuvius will be a real waste of time.
Waste of time, yeah.
Waste of time.
What are you saying? It's one of the world's most wonderful spots.
Winnie, why don't we visit Washington or Las Vegas instead?
I never want to visit the United States. It's way too expensive.
You are right. I wonder what Asia would be like.
Asia? Now there's a clever idea.
How about Taiwan, Winnie?
Taiwan would be wonderful, Vivian. Now, did you notice you were using really good connected speech there? Because it's a conversation, right? You you hit them perfectly. Your pronunciation was perfect, and your cohesiveness, my understanding of what you were saying, it was perfect. It was flowing. Now, when you see the video, and if you can get to the end, you'll see this section. It goes like this. That's how we.
Yes, yes.
And your cohesiveness was far more understandable than if you and I were to be saying, I've waited a long time for this I wouldn't understand what that was. But we
Okay.
read it, and you
wait a
waited.
long time for this vacation.
Yes, you see how you flowed everything and everything. Even, by the way, here's the good part about connected speech. I mean, this is really the key to connected speech. Pronunciation is improved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even when there's a mispronunciation, right? It gets buried. It gets buried because the next word is right there already. So even if you were to say, I've waited a long time for this vacation, notice I said vacation instead of vacation. I've waited a long time for this vacation, Willie. Guess what? Willie was already there, and I didn't even hear the vacation. It's vacation, yes. And I know
Vacation.
vacation, right? I know that, you know that, everybody knows that, except that by the time you got to the word Willie, right? It's already registered. Oh, vacation. It doesn't matter that you pronounced it vacation, because the conversation, the tone, the cohesiveness was there already. And that's why this is important. And that's why even when you practice, I know it's difficult to do this, by the way, to practice conversationally. But if you practice conversationally, you'll see that it becomes natural, it flows. Any pronunciation mistakes, what'll happen, here's what will happen. If we were to put the word light in here somewhere, what would happen is you would be conversational, and one of two things are going to happen. It's either conversational and you pronounce it correctly because it flowed, right? Remember how you said blight and you had no problem versus light, right? What'll happen is you'll either pronounce it correctly because it's flowing, or you're going to stop. You're going to stop, and that's where you're going to say, hey, I want to light, and then you're going to go. So try to practice it that way, okay?
Yeah.
So we ran over yet again. I do this. Sorry. But,
thank you very much. I appreciate.
But I know I have to get better with time. But it's just I really get involved in this stuff, and I really want to. I want to give you as much as I can usually. So let me. I'll make sure that we cover the rest of today's sessions in the next one. But we definitely need to just keep reviewing, these things. So that's why, our reviews take so long, because I just want to make sure that we're practicing and getting it right. And because eventually, repetition is so important. Right? I say this I repeat it all the time, but repetition is really key. All right. So thank you again for doing a great job today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I will see you on Monday, same time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
You.
Honey, you take care.
You.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.